We're going to continue with part 2 of our beginner series, so I'll be adding on extra exercises. For today, if you could have a block or a cushion on hand and a belt or a strap or a TheraBand to do one of the exercises. Right, we're going to start lying down, so feet are hip distance apart and in line with your sit bones. So to begin with, you need to put a block under your head or a cushion if you find that your head is tipped backwards or there's any tension underneath your head. And then we're just going to start by taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in and breathing out. So as you keep your breath going, we're going to just find neutral pelvis. So this is when you do that small tuck under and you arching your lower back and tucking under, never going to a range of movement that causes you discomfort. You're going to make that movement smaller and smaller until you find that the heel of the hand is level with the middle fingers. So from here, your fingers are in a diamond shape. And as you're doing that tuck and that arch, you will wait until your pelvic bones and your pubic bone are all level. Your weight is on your tailbone. The ribs are nice and relaxed. And then you're going to relax your shoulders, your arms out to the sides. So taking a breath in again, you're expanding the ribs front, back and sides. And on that exhale, you want to feel a slight drawing in of your abdominals around your waistband area and a sinking downwards. So there is no clenching or no bracing. And then we'll keep going with the breath. So as you inhale, you're lowering your left knee out to the side. And on the exhale, you activating your core to draw that leg back up toward the center. So inhaling, relax head, neck and shoulders as you lower that knee, and exhaling as you draw back up. Now the pelvic bones are staying really centered, so they're facing up toward the ceiling. So you're avoiding tipping the pelvis over to either side. Just allow that leg to open out, that opposite knee stays pointing up toward the ceiling. And one more on either side. Inhaling, no movement through the right knee. Exhaling as you sink through the rib cage, relaxing through the head, neck and shoulders. Breathing in, right knee opens to the side, and breathing out as you draw that leg back up again. So inhaling, left leg's going to come up into tabletop, the thigh bones dropping into the socket, and exhaling as you control back down. So just single leg to tabletop, then making sure that there's no rounding of the lower back or no tilting side to side. So we're keeping the pelvis really steady as you're just allowing the movement of the thigh bone to drop in the socket and control back down. The upper body stays relaxed, so you're imagining a weight on your chest as you keep the motion going. And the last set, inhaling, exhaling, control back down, toe ball heel. I want to control the movement all the way down toward the floor, so you're not slapping that foot down toward the mat, and control that back down. Now breathing in, your left foot's going to lift up just an inch. As you breathe out, you're straightening that leg, so send it away from you. And then inhaling as you bend that knee back in again, exhaling as you place the foot down. Breathing in, right foot lifts, breathing out as you reach it away. Inhaling, bend the knee back in again, and exhale as you place the foot down. Now, when you send the leg away, once you get to center range, if you feel that the back's starting to arch, stop at that range and come back in. Otherwise, if you feel that you can straighten that leg without any tension through your back, then you're ready to do that exercise. And then right foot's going to lift. I'm lifting up through the pelvic floor as I'm sending the leg away. And then making sure that the upper body is completely relaxed. One more set, breathing in as you lift the foot up. Breathing out, stability through the pelvis as you send the leg away. No change through the lower back. Bend that knee back in again and place the foot down. Last one, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you reach away. Inhaling, bend that knee back in again, and exhaling as you place the foot down. Walking the feet together and the heels together, open the arms out to the side, palms are facing upwards, breathing in as you lower the knees down toward the left, keeping the right shoulder anchored onto the mat, and then exhaling, my right side of my obliques are pulling the knees back up toward the center, breathing in up and over toward the right, and then again inner thighs are active as you pull the knees back up toward the center. 2 more sets of the spinal rotation. You can even allow your head to look toward the opposite side. Making sure that the legs stay relatively heavy, and it's my side waist muscles, so the obliques that are pulling back up to the center. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more on either side. Chest is nice and heavy. And the last one. Find your centered position again. Walk your feet back to hip distance apart in line with the sit bones. Bring the arms up, palms are facing inwards. Inhaling, reaching the fingertips to the ceiling, and exhaling as you draw the shoulder blades flat on the mat. Inhaling as the shoulder blades move around the rib cage, and then draw down toward the mat again, and to more no tension through the neck, so make the movement smaller. I'm just isolating through the shoulder blades, bringing your awareness to them. Collarbone is nice and wide. Take a breath in, breathing out into arm scissors. One arm reaches back and one arm reaches down. Inhale back to your center. Exhaling as you reach, and inhale as you come back. Here you're making sure that the ribs are staying settled without jamming them down. I want the weight on the rib cage, or don't take the arm back as far as your ribs lift. So correct the range of movement just according to what the rib cage is doing. Last one, exhaling as you reach, inhaling back to the center. Into arm circles, breathing in as you reach the arms overhead, and breathing out as you circle them back around. Noticing how different your arms might be, or your shoulder joint movement from one to the other. My ribs are still really settled as I take the arms back and overhead. And then we're going to do 3 in the opposite direction. So breathing in as you lower the arms down, breathing out as you just reaching them away from each other, opening up through the front of the chest and through your pecs. Breathing in and breathing out. Checking tension through your neck, so you want freedom of arm movement as you circle the arms back round. Now from here, we're going to take the hands behind the head. So we're doing the first abdominal exercise, our ab prep or our ab crunch. My pelvis stays in neutral here. Elbows are not jammed into the mat, so bring them into the eye periphery. Inhaling that very slight chin nod as you drop the eye gaze. Exhaling, sliding the ribs as you curl up. Inhaling, looking at the knees, and exhaling as you lower back down. Breathing in, nodding the chin, breathing out as you curl up. Now maintain your neutral spine here, so check that and release back down. So we're going to add to this exercise now. I'm going to curl up and hold. Breathing in, left leg comes up into tabletop, and breathing out as you control back down. Right leg comes up, control back down, and then lengthen the body all the way to the mat. Breathing in, lengthen the back of the neck, breathing out as you curl up. Inhaling, right leg's going to come up, and exhaling as you control back down. Left leg, so we're building up endurance as well as being able to hold the upper body curled while you have that leg movement. Breathing in, nod the chin, breathing out, slide the ribs and curl up. Find your neutral. Inhaling, the leg comes up, control it back down again, and second leg. Inhaling as you lift, exhaling, control back down, inhaling as you hold, and then release your body back down on the exhale. Breathing in, nod the chin, breathing out, curl up. Now we're going to do the leg reaches, so I'm lifting the left leg up, sending the leg away as far as I can maintain my core connection there, bend the knee back in, and place the foot down. Breathing in, right leg lifts up, and extend the leg away. Bending the knee back in again, place the foot down, and release the body all the way down to the mat. For one more set, nodding the chin, sliding the ribs as you curl up. My eye line's looking at my knees. Inhale as you lift the foot, send it away, drawing the pelvic floor up in opposition, bend that knee back in, and place the foot back down again. Breathing in, left leg lifts up, extend the leg away from you, making sure that the body does not lower as you extend the leg away. Pull the knee in, place the foot down, and lengthen the body all the way down to the mat. Coming onto your front, so legs are slightly apart. Arms are in a W position, so hands are in line with the ears. Find the head nice and long. You can place a cushion under your head if you need to. Breathing in, I'm going to open my collarbone nice and wide, so feel the width through the collarbone. Stomach muscles are activated. Exhaling as you start reaching your chest forward and up. So my bottom rib is on the mat. My pelvis is heavy. Inhaling as you hold, and exhale. Find the length as you lower your body back down again. Breathing in, open through the collarbone. Keep weight on the pelvis. Exhaling as you lengthen yourself back up. I'm working through my mid upper back muscles here, not the lower back, and release yourself back down, release through the shoulders. Breathing in as you open through the collarbone, breathing out, send your chest forward and up, keep the pelvis down, inhaling as you hold, and exhale as you lengthen yourself all the way down. Now we're going to take the arms alongside you. I want you to bring your legs closer towards you, activate through the core. Breathing in, I'm going to turn my palms inwards to face the body. Breathing out as you reach forward into a hover. So I'm lifting up slightly away from the mat, but my eye line's looking downwards. And then you're going to release your upper body all the way down. So breathing in, the back of the armpits are kind of closing in toward each other. My arms turn in and float. Exhaling as you reach forward. So think of a reaching forward rather than lifting up. Find the length from the head to the toes before lowering yourself all the way down. And inhaling, opening up through the collarbone. Exhaling as you dart forward. Inhaling, find your reach your fingertips toward your toes, and then lower yourself back down again for the last one. Inhaling, palms come inwards. Exhaling as you dart forwards. My eye gaze is looking downwards throughout. Inhaling as you reach, and exhaling as you release yourself back down. Now taking the hands underneath the forehead, relaxing through the shoulders. We're going to activate through the glutes. Core is active, taking a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to activate. You're going to squeeze the right side of your glute first before lifting the leg up, and inhale as you control back down. And then squeezing the left side as you lift up. Keep equal weight on both sides of the pelvis, so watch that you're not tipping. Reducing the range of movement, so it's not a high lift here, it's a very small lift, and you just want to make sure that your glutes are active first. My forehead is nice and heavy on my head, on my hands, and release back down. And then lifting up the right leg and holding it lifted, drawing up on the kneecap so you don't want the knee bent. We're going to pulse that for 10. So reaching up for 1, release, and for 2. Really activating the glutes as you pull up again. So you're not bouncing. You're really drawing up from the glutes, strengthening up the glute muscles. And the last 2, release that leg all the way down, activating the left side, and lift the left side up. Find the length away from you as you start lifting up and release. So drawing the stomach muscles up and away from the mat. Feel tension release from your head, neck and shoulders. The back of the knees facing directly up toward the ceiling, so I'm not turning the leg out or in. Last one, and lower the leg back down again. Now push yourself back into a shell stretch, so bum goes down toward your heels, reaching your fingertips to get away. Deep breath in and breathing out. You can take your arms behind you if that's easier. And then bring yourself up. We're going to come onto all fours. So the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and find your neutral spine so you're not tucked under or you're not overly arched. Push up and away from the mat. Take your breath in. We're coming into a cat stretch. As you breathe out, tucking the pelvis under, rounding your spine, vertebra at a time. Let your head relax completely at the end on the inhale, and then find your tailbone back into neutral all the way through. Take a breath in and breathing out. Articulation, vertebra at a time. Pressing the floor away on that inhale and exhaling. Lengthening yourself back again. We're going to come into the last one. So as I exhale, my stomach muscles are initiating the exercise, so my abdominals are drawing up toward the ceiling, causing the rounding of the spine. Inhaling as you hold, and exhaling, sending everything back into neutral. From here, we're going to start reaching one leg away at a time. So on the exhale, I want you to think of really keeping your obliques active, so they come from the opposite rib to the opposite hip in an X shape or a sign, and I want you to slide your right leg away, keep it on the mat, and these muscles here are activating in that cross, coming back in again, sending the left leg away and bringing that back in. Now as you start the movement, you're trying to keep yourself from rocking side to side. So make sure that the pelvis is pointing downwards the whole time, so my bones are pointing down toward the mat, especially as I'm changing over. I want to avoid the shifting. So you'd be practicing that exercise until you can do the exercise without shifting side to side before you would start lifting the leg up. So once I can keep my stability, then only would I start lifting the leg up and avoid movement. So as I draw the leg back in again, I'm not throwing my hips to side. So exhaling, reaching that leg away, and then inhaling, I'm going to lift the leg up straight and avoid that hip pulling to the side, lower that foot down and come back in. The other thing that you're watching is that the head doesn't drop. So keep nice strong shoulders as you do that, sending the leg away. On the exhale, inhale as you lift up. Exhaling, lower back down and draw that leg back in. Coming into the last one. Lifting the leg up, lower back down and draw that knee back in again. Now for the upper body, taking a breath in, you're going to release your right hand, the back of the hand to the forehead, and then place it back down again. The left hand, if you find you need a breather for your wrists in between, just take that breather and circle through the wrists. The same thing applies here. I'm avoiding the shifting now from the upper body. So I still need my core active. I need the obliques to stop me shifting. So breathing in, back of the hand comes up, breathing out as you place back down. Keep that push up and out of the shoulders so that you're not sagging downwards, and then lower that hand back down. Then sit yourself back onto your heels. Here, circle through the wrists. Just decompress them. And then, which I should have said in the beginning, but you can roll your mat up and place the heel of the hands on the edge of the mat if you find that there's too much pressure through your wrist. We're going to go through a new exercise today. So taking hold of your band or a belt. And it's the half roll back. So you're going to take it across the base of or the forefoot, making sure that the toes are covered as well and the band is flat. Take the band from between the thumb and the second finger and sit yourself up nice and tall. You may need to sit yourself up on cushions here or a block if you find that you cannot sit in a straight back position. So that's the critical position to lift yourself up nice and tall. Now you're not pulling on too much on the band, it's there for support. Taking a breath in as you lengthen upwards. As you breathe out, the movement starts by me tucking under. My pelvis is rounding and moving away from my thigh bones here as my lower back's coming toward the mat. I've had a C curve of my spine now. I'm going to keep that C curve. Draw yourself forward and then lengthen upwards, sitting right on top of the sit bones. Inhaling, sitting nice and tall. Exhaling, drawing the abdominals inwards. Start tucking under. So my tailbone's coming between the legs. My glutes switch on slightly as I come into that tucked under position. And then find that opening of my hip joint here. Roll yourself forward and lengthen yourself upwards. Taking an inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, tuck under. Watch there's no gripping of the band. Inhale as you hold. And exhale, roll yourself forward and restack. So it's not a slumped motion, it's actively lengthening. So even though I am rounding my spine, I'm not just collapsing. So keep that length, really feel that your spine is reaching out through the crown of your head as you get that activity going, that nice C curve. My eye line is looking straight ahead, and then bring yourself forward and lengthen upwards. So inhaling wide through the collarbones, exhaling slight tension through the band as you tuck under, roll back. I've come to the back of my sit bones now, and then roll yourself forward and then restacking nice and tall for the last one, and breathing out, rolling back. Inhale as you hold and exhale, keeping that C curve, bring yourself upright again. Right, placing the band to one side. You're going to come lying on your back again. So we're finding our neutral spine again. You can do your pelvic tilt just to find that place where your pelvic bones and your pubic bone is level. And we're going to come into a one leg circle. So you're taking your left leg up into tabletop, and it's a right angle. And think of your thigh bone circling in the hip socket. As you breathe in, you're bringing that thigh bone across the body, and then breathing out as you circle it back round. I'm trying to keep as much pelvic stability as I can. We're going to do 3 circles in either direction. So it's that circling that's going on right in the hip socket, and the rest of my body is not moving. And then it's change direction, inhaling and exhaling. Relax through the chest for 2. Collarbone is nice and wide. Coming in for 3. Bring that leg back up toward the center and place the foot down. Coming onto the right leg. Again, find the right angle and inhaling as you cross the body and exhaling as you circle back round. So here you're avoiding the lower part of the leg moving. Really think of that whole shape just coming as one as you're circling across the body and around, breathing in for half the circle and breathing out for the other half. Let's change direction, inhaling and exhaling, keeping the upper body tension free for 2. Pelvis is nice and steady for 3, and then lower that foot all the way down toward the mat. Now we're going to come into imprint, and that's where we went through in that first video when you've got the muscles between your pelvis and your rib cage. So if I place my middle finger on the tip of my pelvic bones and my thumb on the base of my ribs, I'm going to shorten that distance by activating these muscles. So taking a breath in, as you breathe out, that space shortens. It's not a jamming or a pushing into the mat. It's a slight activation, so it's a small movement. You're just wanting to turn these muscles on. Arms are alongside you. Inhale, left leg comes into tabletop. So hopefully by now on that second leg, you can draw that leg up without your back arching away from the mat. And then inhaling, left leg comes down, and exhaling, right leg comes down and find your neutral. So as I breathe out, I'm coming into imprint, that distance shortens, left leg comes up, and then deepen through that imprint. So make sure that you're really solid through your abdominals as the left leg comes up. You're going to take your one leg down, the second leg down, and find your neutral. And again, so I'm drawing that space toward each other, and then taking one leg up by releasing through my shoulders, second leg, maintain that, and you're also avoiding the abdominals kind of like opening, and then keep that position there. From here, we're going to come into a single leg stretch. So the first part is just taking the toe toward the ceiling and coming back in, and then reaching the toe back up. So can I do that without tension through the lower back? Then you can start reaching the leg slightly lower down and pull back in. Switching over and coming back in. So are your ribs down on the mat as you send the leg away? And you would determine how low you take the leg, and that would be as much as you can keep your imprint. So as far as I can maintain imprint, my abdominals drawing downwards and no tension through the lower back. And then we're going to take the hands behind the head. So you're interlacing your fingers, taking the hands behind the head, again building on the upper layer of your stomach muscles, inhaling as you nod your chin, exhaling as you curl up. So I've got all my stomach muscles engaged now as I do the exercise, and exhaling, send the leg away, inhaling as you pull back in, breathing out as you reach, and inhaling, coming back in. Same thing applies, only taking that leg down as low as you can maintain your imprint, no tension through the lower back, and the last set. Bend that knee in, release the upper body down, and then take your right leg down and your left leg down as you find your neutral. Moving on to a shoulder bridge. So the first video we did an articulated bridge where we round the spine up vertebra at a time and then coming down vertebra at a time. For today we're going to add in a neutral bridge. So if my fingers were on my the pelvic bones and on my rib cage, I want to be able to pick my hips up and not change that distance. So there's no rolling through the spine. The only bit that's moving is at my hip, the crease at my hip. So if I pick my hips up, there's no change through my spine. And as well as I place them down, the only bit that's creasing, so I'm creasing where my thigh bone meets the hip joint and place back down again. So breath in. As you breathe out, equal weight on both your feet, activate your glutes and just send your hips up. Inhale as you hold and exhale as you crease at your hips and place down. So my tailbone's coming down first, breathing out as you lift up, activating through the inner thighs, reaching the knees away from you and release back down again for the last 2. So you really have the sensation of the glutes wrapping toward each other release, and the last one. Breathing out, press into your feet, lifting up. Inhale as you hold, and exhale as you lower back down. Now coming back onto your front, you're going to open up the legs, bend the knees in, and bring your heels together. The feet are flexed. So you're in a frog-shaped position, or the legs are. My pelvic bones and my pubic bones level, and you want to avoid lifting the hips away from the mat. So think more of a spreading sensation of your hip bones away from each other. Taking a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to squeeze your heels and wrap your glutes. So I've just got a wrapping around my glutes. My heels are squeezed. Inhale as you release. And exhaling as you squeeze. Inhaling as you release. The forehead is nice and heavy on your hands. And 3 more. Keep the weight equal. Feel that you're pressing equally on both sides of your heels so that one side is not pushing in more than the opposite side. And release, and the last one. Release that tension there. Right, release the legs down. You're in parallel and legs are together. So into our one leg kick, activating through the core. So the choreography is I'm going to point, pull the toes in toward my bum, release that slightly, pull the heel in toward my bum. As I extend the leg, I'm pointing my foot and lengthening the leg away. So it's a pointing, releasing, flexing the heel, pulling in, and then point and lengthen the leg away. So you want to make this movement really active. So I'm activating my glutes and my hamstring to pull the foot in toward me, release, pull that heel in. So really get that glute and hamstring activation. And then as I send the leg away, I'm using the muscles on the back of the leg to extend the leg. So I'm pointing, pulling in, release, flexing, pulling in, point and lengthen away. So you'll know if you're doing the exercise correctly, if you can actually feel the back of the leg working rather than just a flapping motion. So you're breathing out as you pull in, breathing out, and then inhale as you lengthen away. Stability through your pelvis at the same time. So as you're pulling in, keep both pelvic bones equal on the mat. Breathing out, inhale as you lengthen, and the last one, actively pulling in as if I'm resisting something really hard, and then I'm resisting on the way back out again. As you're doing the resisting, making sure that you're not taking tension through the head and the neck, lengthen that leg again. And then push yourself back into a shell stretch. Drop your tailbone down, reach the fingertips away, deep breath in and out. Bring yourself up onto all fours. So this is the exercise where we're going to start adding load onto the body. And just to remind you again, if your wrists are too sore, place the heel of the hands on that folded up mat or place them on the edge of a cushion. Right, so set yourself up, your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips. This time we're going to curl the toes under. And I want you to keep your neutral spine so you're not in a rounded position and my head is in line with my spine. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to press into your toes or into your feet and allow the knees to come into a hover. It's only 1 inch or 2 that you're lifting your knees up, and then control yourself back down again. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, core is active. You're going to hover the knees, and then make sure that you haven't sent your weight all the way forward on your wrists. Keep the weight on your toes as well, and then release back down. 3 more. Take a breath in, push up and out of the shoulders. Exhale as you hover the knees. Inhale as you hold. And exhale as you release back down. Take a breath in. And breathing out. Watch the position of your head so you're not dropping the head down. Keep reaching out through the crown of the head. Releasing back down again for the last one. Taking a breath in. And breathing out as you hover. Inhale as you hold. And exhale as you release your knees back down again. Right, so we'll finish off with a spine stretch forward, grabbing hold of a cushion or a block. You're going to come seated on. The legs can be bent, so if I find that I want my back upright, I'm going to keep the legs bent. If you're okay straightening the legs, you can. So today I'm going to do it with the legs bent. Relax your hands on your knees. Breathing in as you sit yourself up nice and tall. Breathing out, slight chin nod. You're rounding your upper back, middle back, lower back as you're reaching your fingers toward your toes. Take a deep breath in there, then breathing out. I'm drawing in through my core and I'm pulling myself up from the lower back and then restacking my spine nice and tall. So imagine that you were seated against a wall, breathing in, lengthening upwards, breathing out, so just a slight chin nod. Feel as if you're going up and over a big ball. So it's a spine stretch forwards. I'm trying to lengthen through the spine as you reach the fingertips toward the toes. Breath in there, relax through the shoulders. Keep the arms relaxed as you're engaging your abdominals to lengthen your spine or rebuild bone by bone. Inhaling, hold, and exhaling, nodding your chin, reaching yourself. Take your fingertips toward your toes, take a breath in there, and then breathing out. Draw yourself back up again, nice and tall. From here, keeping the legs bent but slightly closer, or the legs crossed if that feels comfortable, into a side stretch. Breathing in, right arm comes up, and exhaling as you go up and over. Inhaling as you hold, exhaling, seat yourself up nice and tall, and arm comes down. Take a breath in again, left arm lift, and exhaling, reaching up and over. My left side becomes nice and heavy, so I find that stretch. Bring yourself up nice and tall, arm comes down, inhaling, right arm lifts up and reach. Breathing in as you hold, using your abdominals as you bring your body back up again, and the last one. Coming up and over, take a breath in, lift yourself up nice and tall, and your arm comes down. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me.